We open a new assembly. When this dialog box pops up, we select our rivet part. Before we place the part, we go to View, Hide or Show. Then we click on Origins so that our origin mark appears. We then put our cursor on the origin, and then we place our part. Next, we click on Insert Component. Then we click on our arm part. We place it at an appropriate position. We go back to View, Hide or Show. We remove our origin mark. Click on the inside face of the arm, the hole. We hold Ctrl. Then we click on the cylindrical surface of the rivet. Then we click on Mate. Then under Mate type, we click on Concentric. Then click on the top surface of the arm. Then we click on the bottom of the head of the rivet. Click on Mate. Then we make it a coincident mate. Next, we insert our blade part. Before you place the part, there's this box that pops up, XYZ box that pops up. You can use it to rotate the shape and make it easier when mating. We zoom in, we click on the whole face, the inner whole face of the blade. Rotate the shape, and then whilst holding Ctrl, we click on the cylindrical surface of the rivet. We then create a concentric mate between these two faces. Next, we click on the surface of the blade. Rotate. Let's bring the blade down. Click on the surface of the blade. Rotate the shape, holding Ctrl, and click on the bottom face of the arm. Then we click on Mate. We make it a coincident mate. Next, holding the Alt key, we drag from the arm to duplicate it, or you can either insert another arm from Insert Component. Next, we come to our Feature Manager tree. Then we right click and click on Hide Components for Arm 1, and right click and click on Hide Components for Arm 2. We zoom into our second arm, click on the inner surface of the hole. Then we click on the cylindrical head of the rivet. Then we click on Mate. We make this a concentric mate. Next, click on the top face of the arm. Rotate the shape. Then we move this up a bit. Click on the top face, hold Ctrl, then click on the bottom face of the rivet. Then we click on Mate. Then we create a coincident mate. Come down to Mate Alignment, then we click on Anti-Align. And our arm should flip. We then show our first arm, then we show the blade. Yes. To make it easier, you can move the second arm so that it's easier when we create the parallel meat. So next, we zoom in, select this face of the second arm, holding control, then we select this face of the first arm. We click on mate, and under mate type we click on parallel, then we create the mate. We zoom out, and now we have our completed mate. We save our assembly as cutter assembly, and click on save. We open a new assembly, and then for our fixed component we select the handle. Once again, before we place it, view, hide or show, then origins. Click on this on the begin assembly tab so that it does not place our part yet. Move our cursor to the origin, then we click on it. Next, using insert components, we insert our cap. We use the XYZ box to rotate the cap to make it easier for us to meet. And then hide our origin mark. Next, this face of the handle, and then we click on this edge of the cap, then we click on mate, then we create a coincident mate between these two faces. Zoom out, we click on this face of the handle, holding control, and then we click on the inside face of the cap. Then we create a concentric mate between these two faces. Next, we bring in our guard. Then click on the top surface of the guard. Zoom in, click on our bottom face of the cap. Then we click on mate. Then we create a coincident mate between the faces. Next, we click on the handle. And then we click on the handle, move to the eye icon, we click on view planes, then we click on hide or show primary planes so that the planes of the assembly show. Then we do the same for the guard, eye icon, then show the planes. Next, we select the front plane of the handle, holding control, we select the front plane of the guard, then we create a coincident mate between the two planes. And next, select the right plane of the handle, holding control, and then we select the right plane of the guard. Then we create a coincident mate between these two faces. Click on the handle, the eye, then hide primary planes. Then we do the same for the guard. Next, we bring in our cutter assembly. using insert components. Using our X, Y, and Z rotations, we try and get correct alignment of the shape. I think this will do. Let's bring it downwards. Go to our design tree, and then we hide our guard. Right click and then click on hide components. Then we hide our cap. Right click and click on eye component. We zoom in, then we select this face of one of the arms. Let me position our cutter wheel. We select this face, one of the arms, rotate the handle, and then we select this inner face of the handle. Then we click on mate. We create a coincident mate between these two faces. On our cutter, we click on this edge between the two arms. Holding Control, we rotate our handle. Then we click on this inner face of the handle. Then we create a coincident mate between them. So now we should be able to move our cutter through the whole of the handle. Next, we show our cap, then we show our guard. We zoom in, we click on the bottom face of our guard, holding Control, and then on our cutter, we click on this edge, holding Control. Then we create a coincident mate between these two faces. We then go to Tools, then come to Evaluate, and Evaluate, go to Interference Detection. Then click on Calculate. Then it should show us that the hole in our guard does not complement the mate with the cutter. So we open our guard part, and under the cut extrude feature, we right click on our sketch, edit sketch. Then we bring our cursor to the circle, then we delete our circle. Using the line tool, we then create the shape. Click on this line, holding Control, we click on the center line, then we click on this line, then we click on Symmetric. We then click on this line, holding Control, click on the center line, then click on this line, then click on Symmetric. Using Smart Dimension from this line to this line, then type 1, then we dimension from this line to this line, then we type 0.096. Next, we do not need to create any extrude cuts, we just accept sketch, then our new hole should be created. So now we'll move to our assembly, then we click on the rebuild icon. We hide our cup, then we hide our handle. Sorry. You should see that our hole has now been changed, and it correlates with the cutter. Insert, then exploded view. We then click the drop down for the feature design tree, feature manager design tree. Now it's not dropping down. Okay. Then we click on our cutter assembly. We then zoom in, we bring our cursor to the y-axis. We drag it down a little bit. And then we type 3 inches. Then we click on done. Under the cutter assembly, we click the drop down. Then we click on our rivet part. If your rivet is not selecting but the cutter assembly is selected, make sure you click on select sub assembly parts, so that it selects the individual parts of the cutter assembly. We then zoom in, place our cursor on the z-axis, then we move our rivets forward a little bit. Then under the distance, we type 4 inches. Then we click on done. Still under the cutter assembly, we select our first arm 1. Put our cursor on the z-axis. We drag it backwards a little bit. Then for the distance, we type 2. Then we click on done. Click on the second arm. Cursor on the z-axis. Move it forward a little bit. And then we type 2. Then we click on done. Next, we select our guard. Put our cursor on the y-axis. We drag it downwards a little bit. And then we type 2.5. Then we click on done. Next, we click on our cup. Drag the y-axis downwards a little bit. And then we type 1.5. And now we should have our exploded view.